Welcome to Primenet. Primenet is a web-based time and attendance software that can be accessed from any internet connection. When we log into Primenet, the first thing we're going to see is the dashboard. Immediately I can see that I have missing punches in the particular departments those missing punches are in. I can see that I have pending time off requests that I need to go in and approve or deny. I can see that I have someone out on scheduled absent. I see 8 hours of sick here. My status board shows me who's in, who's out. It shows me how many hours an employee has before they reach OT. When it goes under 9 hours, the color changes. This alerts me to the fact that I need to get somebody else in to take care of this, or that I'm going to have overtime if the employee works past these 3 hours. I can see the number of hours they've worked in the pay period so far. And in this instance, on the first person, this is a California policy. I can see they've got 16 hours left before they go into overtime based on the 40-hour per week rule. But I can also see that they've got 13 hours of overtime over here, which would be the daily overtime. I can sort my dashboard based on the status and see everybody that's in first, people that are out, only the people that are out first, the number of hours to overtime, period hours, and so forth. At the bottom of my dashboard, I can see my scheduled versus actual. So if you're using scheduled hours, we can actually track over time how well the scheduling is and whether we go over or under our scheduled hours. For instance, in the week of August 22nd, I had 415 scheduled hours and 817 actual hours. From the dashboard, on my missing punch widget, I can actually click on one of these areas, and my status board below is going to display the people or person that has the number of missing punches that we see here. For my pending time off requests, my PTO requests, I can click on one of the parts of the circle here, and I can see that Charles Spencer has 4 requests. If I want to find out who's out sick, I click here, and this shows me that Grace Park is out sick today. I click over here on my missing punch, and now I can go in and just click on either employee, and it's going to bring me over to my exceptions. From my exceptions, I'm able to fix my missing punches. I can just click on the missing punch. I can fix it in line. And if they had any time for that week, I would be able to see it here. I click save, and that saves that for that employee. I can click on this employee, and I can see what they've got here in this week and be able to judge whether the time and date out for this particular missing punch is correct based on what they've already worked. I can also choose just to go into the employee's timesheet by clicking on their name. And here I can see they've got a missing punch. I can click here and fix their missing punch in line from their time card. I can also see the hours that they have this week. I can assign and redistribute these hours. If I want to redistribute, I click here and I can move overtime into regular, regular into overtime, or double time. If I want to assign these hours to different departments, I can just decide how many hours go to which particular departments I want. I can make 2 hours for this and 10 hours of our own choosing and save that. Under my department here, I can see the different departments the employee has worked. I go back to the previous pay period for this employee, and I can see, using my legend up here, I've got different colors that tell me what's going on in the time card. An incomplete punch, an absent, which is our non-paid time. The white would equal time that is paid. Our purple would be awards, things such as bonus, tips, any type of reimbursement that would be a dollar amount. The green is going to be any paid time away, such as holiday, sick, personal, vacation time. So at a glance, I'm able to come in and see the time card and see what was going on with the employee. This makes it a lot easier to approve the time card once I'm ready to do so. If schedules are used, I can view the schedule that this employee has and compare that with what they've worked. Under their totals, I can see week 1. This person is only a weekly employee, so he only has 1 week here. If they were bi-weekly, I would be able to toggle back and forth between week 1 and week 2. I can see their total payable hours here. These are all the hours that the employee is going to be paid. It splits it up down below between worked and not worked. Not worked is then broken down by the different categories such as holiday, personal, and sick time. Non-payable would be things like lunches or absent days where they were supposed to work and did not. My dollar amount would be my bonuses, tips, or anything of that nature. Over here on my total, it just shows the total for the pay period. I can also see up above the brief description, paid time away, total worked hours, and then it splits it out between regular and overtime and double time if that's the case. If I'm ready to approve this time card, I can click on my Show Approvals, and I can see here that the employee still needs to approve their time card. Once the employee approves their time card, then I, as a supervisor, can go in and approve it, or if the employee is not able to approve it, I can simply click Complete Approval, and that will complete it for both the employee and the supervisor. Once either the employee or the supervisor completes the approval, then the time card is not able to be edited after that. My PTO requests are right next to the timesheet and the exceptions. I can come in and I can approve. I can choose from different banks. I can change the hours on them, or I can deny the request altogether. Anytime an employee requests any type of vacation, personal, sick, the request is emailed to their supervisor. We have multiple reports to choose from. We run our report. We can choose the date ranges that we want, or particular pay period, the employees, and any of the options in here, page break by employee, show notes, things like that. Generate our report, and our report comes out that we've asked for. We can then export that to different formats. We can print it, or I can export it to Excel or a CSV. Employees have multiple ways of clocking in and out. They can use hardware, such as magstripe cards, barcode cards, proximity cards. They can use biometrics, such as fingerprint biometrics, hand reader biometrics. The punches from these clocks are uploaded in real time, so there's no polling client required to bring the punches from the clock and then send them to the internet. The punches go straight from the clock as they happen, right to the server, and you're viewing data in real time. The other option is the e-time clock, and the employee would just go to a URL that's been given to them. They log into the e-time clock. and they can either clock in, clock out, they can view their PTO balance, they can request PTO, they can view their timesheets and approve their timesheets. They would also be able to clock in and out for lunch, transfer departments, and clock in and out for breaks if the rights have been given to them to do so.